Yeah.
Okay, bruv. Now, I've got a little secret. You see, all of my content, you've been seeing these Amphion 218s, yeah? Yeah, nah, they've not been Amphion 218s. I've actually had the X series for the last 2.5 months, and I'm so excited to finally talk to you about this. Now, bearing in mind, I am an Amphion lover. That sounds crazy. I love Amphion speakers, so I was really wary, of course, when it came to trying the new ones because I'm so accustomed to how my current ones sound. But at the same time, I've bought many speakers, so I know that there's going to be that initial period, that initial time frame where this is so shocking that I don't know whether I like this or not. So I allowed myself the last 2 months to really live with them. Okay, so it's Thursday the 8th of May and it's 20 to 2 p.m. and I've received these Amphions. My old ones are in the box and actually these are the new ones with the new tweeter, and I'm going to be just taking my first listen. This is my first raw impression. Of course, I'm going to give an opinion after I've lived with them for a while, but I just want to get a feel of whether these sound different or not. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to play some of my tracks and I'm first going to listen to it without the subwoofer, and then I'll add the subwoofer in afterwards just to see how that sounds as a combination as well. I'm not gonna lie, I'm proper excited, bruv. All right, let's jump into this.
Get you someone like me. Lately I've been glowing like the moon is thirsty. And baby, you look like you need a cosmic kind of love, and let me show you what that means. Check out my aura, look at the way that I swing my hips in order. Turn to the sound of the beat, they hope they hula. Running my lifestyle is real.
So immediately straight off the bat, this tweeter is way smoother. I think I love that. Now, at first I'm thinking, okay, will things be a little less exciting? But I think what I'm realizing is in the top end being smoother, it's just like a tilt EQ, right? If you have a smoother top end, then the kind of opposite of that is feeling like you have more bass. And actually what I'm hearing is the speakers feel warmer overall, but the tweeter change is actually impacting the low end. I feel like these speakers now sound like they have way more bass without using the subwoofer. Before, when I used these speakers without the subwoofer and I turned it off, it was like, oh, bloody hell, do you know what I mean? Like you felt the low end get lost, whereas now I don't actually feel like that's as drastic. I'm going to hit the sub in though and just see how that adds the value as well.
I can stay forever if you want me to. I can be your feminine like Sailor Moon. Crossing all your boundaries if you want me to. Just give me the word, I'll put a spell on you. I can stay forever if you want me to. I can be your feminine like Sailor Moon. Crossing all your boundaries if you want me to. Just give me the word,
So 100% there's more bass. The way I know this is I actually feel like I need to actually dial my subwoofer down a bit now because I actually can hear like, okay, there's a lot of low end going on there. So this is really interesting, but I'm going to have these for at least 2 months before this video ever goes live. So I'm just going to keep doing little vlogs like this and updating you on the process, how it goes, and I'll make sure to time and date as well. Okay, this isn't another day. This is the same day, but I literally have to just record myself now because right this second, at this moment, I've been blown away because I just listened to SleepNet Finality, which is just an incredible piece of sound design and just energy from bottom to top, and the fidelity in the top end. So even though I said that they're smoother, I think what I'm actually probably hearing is there's less distortion, inherent distortion within the tweeter, probably due to them being able to provide more power. And as a result of that, you see between 1K to about 5K, that is clear. Whereas before, there was kind of this like, I don't want to say white noise, but there was this kind of like high-end energy that was just on top of everything, making it a little bit more cloudy. Sorry if my analogy is terrible, but if you own Amphions, I think you know what I mean. Whereas now, there's a very clear distinction between something that's sitting at 10K and something that's sitting at 5K and something that's sitting at 1K. Like, that separation within that upper mid-range is actually incredible. So I had to just post that. This isn't a different day. This is the same day. Honestly, I feel like all the comments are going to probably be from the same day. But what I just heard, that is a game changer. So SX Pro actually put on a function, and it was really, really dope actually, because a few people came down. Like, the studio was owned by one of the guys from the Shapeshifters, who at the time I didn't realize who I was meeting, but the guy's an absolute legend in the UK. And then also Audio Animals were down there as well. Like, honestly, it was a really lovely environment, but we got to hear the Amphions within this beautiful treated rooms. I believe their studio is called Earthworks, and we got to hear them. Everyone got to listen, and honestly, it was just such a great night. Check this out.
So what we have here are actually two new products from Amphion, the 118X and the 218X. And obviously the 118 and 218 is probably familiar to a lot of you. Am I right? These are not a replacement, or are they?
No, they're not.
They're kind of a slightly different price.
But I think the old model is 118, 218 is available and continues to be available for how long we don't know.
Yeah, sure.
But it's, to me, it's clear which one I would buy. But that doesn't automatically mean you might be. Need a center speaker, which you want to do an Atmos for whatever. So yeah.
So what's the upgrade?
That's for you.
We were very happy. We've been looking for a new tweeter for a long time. We were very happy with the one we got for the 125A. And then it kind of became a no-brainer to see if we can use that for the existing products. The tricky part is, of course, if you kind of look at they just replaced the tweeter.
Yeah.
But when you are at this level, this, I would say, anal level where we are when it comes to trying to get translation right, trying to get all the things right, it takes a long time to kind of, you don't want to make something that is radically different from the product that a lot of people like and have learned to trust. But on the other hand, of course, technically, when you have a tweeter that is a radically lower distortion, linearity is totally different, and also consistency is very, very precise, and then extension is very high. So of course, how do you bring that into the product in a way that you don't lose anything, but you just can just kind of elevate it to the next level.
This is what you probably did quite well, actually, because I do find this cabinet style does translate through many rooms very consistently. And so you haven't lost that by making that change. You've just
and of course we're small enough that we don't have to change things just for changing's sake. I mean, maybe it's we also pay for it in some people's eyes that it looks the same. It's not interesting because in the world you need to have new things all the time. But especially when it comes to the speakers, and especially when it comes to the passive speakers, if you kind of got something right, or a lot of things right, we're wrestling with the laws of acoustics. We can do things radically different and say, hey, expect that things are correct. But ultimately, of course, it's the proof of the pudding is not only in the listening, but actually working with it. And Amphion has always been about translation. I mean, this is kind of, I think this is how we got heard in the first place, because we've done a lot of work to get that part right. And now what has changed a little bit in the world is that I think there's more and more headphone listening, and especially high-end headphone listening, because that has developed a lot in the past 5 years. And we have, what's really cool, we have a lot of some of the mastering guys who also have a top-notch headphone chain. I mean, I'm talking DCS on the which is a super high end DA manufacturer from the hi-fi side actually, and he said that it has something very very similar in terms of this zero distortion and just this very very immaterial extension that you only get from a headphone due to the low mass. We have a knock on wood. We really haven't lost the tweeter yet, and we've tried.
I was trying.
Yeah. This is very different. If we are going, I think Amphion mostly has been kind of known for in the mixing circles, mixing a little bit of mastering, but mainly mixing. But I think now it's all perfectly fine to go to production and creation and stuff like that. And of course, in case something happens, you don't have to change the tweeter. You just change the voice coil, which is kind of nice. So, yeah.
Nice.
Can I just say, so if you spec-in this against the other one, are you spec-in this with more SPL for the tweeter, or are you spec-in them exactly the same?
The tweeter can take more power, yes. But still, of course, our products are not made for blasting. It's still a kind of prime textbook example of quality over quantity. But still, yes.
So you spec them the same?
Spec-wise, yes, but they can take a
bit more.
They can take a lot.
Is the crossover point the same?
Yeah, more or less the same.
Okay.
Yes.
And are the old, the standard versions upgradable?
No, unfortunately not, because there's. It's not only the tweeter. Of course, the waveguide needs to be different.
So what about the frequency response? Is that still the same?
No, the extension on it goes quite much higher. Yeah, quite much.
By how much are we talking then?
It goes up to 55 k's.
The way I like to analogize this is if you drive at 120 miles an hour, if you can get to that in like a 14-year-old Ford Fiesta, compared to like driving 114 miles an hour in a Ferrari. The Ferrari's going to make it really easy, isn't it? And do it effortlessly, and it's not going to be jetting around on its last legs, whereas, you get those speakers that perhaps are at their limit.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference offhand is probably in how the spatial information gets kind of.
Yeah, I mean, the feedback I've had just from, obviously, we haven't sold any of these yet. I know this man's had a pair for a while on the lowdown, but the 218s, as they have been in the past, people tend to describe them as wider than most other speakers, which is a really weird thing, but actually it makes a lot of sense because there's a lot less of mismatched phase information going on. So your stuff that's panned right is properly right, rather than kind of roughly there somewhere, and vice versa. And consequently, you get that much more robust stereo field as well. So they just feel like they're able to, if you really translate what they're saying, they're able to perceive that stereo field much more accurately.
Front to back changing from the passive.
Big time, yeah. If you get those mixes where that's utilised, absolutely, yeah.
This was the challenge because we can change something that people trust and rely on. That works. I mean, if you look at the amount of stuff that gets done by our customers,
but also what they're being
amazing.
used for, like that perfect, that upper mid, that clarity, that sort of trust that you have in it. If you change that, you've changed what people were using the product for.
And this was the kind of the going back and forth.
So it has to be better. It can't just be it can't be done for the sake of sales.
Exactly.
You would lose the existing sales and the trust of the existing customers.
It's so interesting because it's like, I think at first you might be shocked, but I don't think a single person is going to not do the upgrade.
It's like
if they hear him.
Amphion Anonymous or something.
Start to feel like a support group.
Do you like this about?
Now, hearing these speakers in that studio was a really great experience for me because that studio is actually way more treated than my studio. But I still love the Amphions as much as I love them at home with my flex bass. I do need to figure out how I'm going to save up some money to get the full bass extension though, because now that I've heard that twice now. I heard it at Gearfest and I was like, bruv, I need these subwoofers. And then I heard it in that studio as well. And I was like, bro, these Amphion speakers, if you're on the fence, if you're worried about whether to upgrade or not, with this level of equipment, I mean, I can't talk for other retailers, other dealers, but I know with SX Pro, they're not going to expect you to drop that money down without hearing them in your own studio. So just reach out to SX Pro if you're serious about buying. Try get a demo pair in your room and just try and sit with them, because honestly, at first when you hear them, it is going to be a shock. But the one thing with Amphion that we have to remember is that the thing we ultimately love about them, well, I ultimately love about them, is the speed. And they're as fast as they've ever been. The transient detail hasn't gone. If anything, there's just a tonal character shift in the top end, which at first was a shock. But now that I've been working on them and I've started to listen to mixes that I actually did on Amphions in the exact same speaker position. I'm super OCD, guys. I got my ruler out, I measured everything. These are the exact same speaker position that my other speakers were in. And I'm listening to my old mixes and I'm noticing things and noticing issues and things that I'm improving in my top end. So regardless of how I personally feel about is it a better speaker or not, it clearly is just a better speaker because it was exposing things that the old speakers didn't show to me. So I highly recommend the upgrade. Even if I don't upgrade my 218s, it would only be for financial reasons. But I would definitely probably buy the 118s actually and just have them in here just so I have that tweeter and woofer combination to be able to just hear the high end without the inherent distortion that some of us may love. But the old tweeter does have an inherent distortion in the top end that this new tweeter absolutely doesn't have, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I don't know, man. I don't know if I've got to start twerking, whatever it is, bruv. Figuring something out, bruv. Because anyway, we need to find this money to buy these speakers. My name is Alex Elliott. I hope you enjoyed this content. I look forward to seeing you all next time.
Yeah.